All right, take a look around any city at night. What do you see? There's this quiet revolution happening. Architectural lighting, it's not just about, making sure we can see anymore. It's about something so much bigger. It's about giving our buildings life, giving them intelligence, and maybe even a voice. I mean, just think about that for a second. Buildings don't just glow. They respond, they communicate, they evolve. That's the huge shift we're diving into today. We're leaving behind that old, boring, static lighting and stepping into a world where our architecture is genuinely, well, alive. Okay, so what does that actually mean, buildings that breathe? Well, to really get where all this is headed, we kind of have to look back at where we came from. So in the old days, right, lighting was, well, it was a blunt instrument. You'd basically just point a bunch of big floodlights at a building, turn them on, and that was it. One look, one mood, all night long, done. But now, oh man, it's a completely different ballgame. Today's designers are treating building facades like these living, breathing canvases. They're using layers and layers of light, all controlled by digital programming, to create something that can actually change and adapt. So how do you actually do that? How do you make a building feel alive? Well, it really boils down to two huge trends happening right now: dynamic lighting and interactive lighting. Let's tackle dynamic lighting first. And I know when you hear dynamic, the first thing that probably pops into your head is, random, flashy, almost chaotic color changes. But that's not it at all. It's actually the complete opposite. We're talking about really controlled, carefully designed scenes that just gracefully evolve through the night. So check this out. Here's a pretty typical schedule. In the evening, when people are out and about, the building might have these warm, welcoming tones. Super inviting, right? Then, as the night gets later, maybe it shifts to a crisp, neutral white, just for clarity. And then, way late at night, it dims way down. And that's not just for looks. It saves a ton of energy and helps cut down on light pollution. See? Every single change has a reason. And this is so key. It's not about being flashy. It's not a spectacle. The real elegance, the real beauty, comes from those slow, subtle transitions. The light is there to enhance the architecture, not scream over the top of it. Okay, so that's dynamic lighting, but what if we took it a step further? What if the light could actually react to what's happening around it right here, right now? Well, that, my friends, is interactive lighting. And this is where it starts to feel like we're living in the future. Just picture this. You're walking past a building, and the lights, they gently ripple as you move. Or imagine a facade that pulses softly with the flow of traffic, or even one that changes its color the moment it starts to rain. It's incredible stuff. What this all means is that interactive lighting literally gives architecture a voice. The building isn't just a static object anymore. It's an active participant in the life of the city. Now, obviously, none of this magic just happens on its own. It's all powered by some seriously cool tech behind the scenes. This is the digital brain that makes all these creative ideas a reality. Okay, you're going to hear a bunch of acronyms thrown around. DMX, DALI, KNX. Don't get bogged down by the letters. Here's all you need to know. These systems give designers pinpoint digital control over every single light. And when you connect them to smart IoT platforms, you can weave that lighting into the building's entire nervous system. Just stop and think about that for a sec. The physical face of a building is now essentially animated by software. It's become as programmable and as flexible as an app on your phone. That's a huge deal. So this level of control leads us to something called media facades. And let me be super clear here. We are not talking about turning buildings into giant billboards or TV screens. No way. The whole point, the key trend, is using low-resolution, really subtle displays that are part of the architecture itself. They're there to express a brand's identity or to tell a cultural story, not to scream ads at you. And all this technology is amazing, but it brings us to what is maybe the single most important trend of all. It's not about the tech itself, but about the new philosophy that's guiding it. And that philosophy is all about responsibility. So if you look at the big priorities for designers today, it's all about having a conscience. They're thinking about things like being dark sky compliant, which is a fancy way of saying, let's protect our view of the stars. They're focused on cutting down light pollution in our cities, using adaptive dimming so light is only used when and where it's needed, and of course, being as energy efficient as humanly possible. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about making a cool-looking building. It's about being human-centric. It's about creating a better, more comfortable, more thoughtful environment for every single one of us. whether you're a resident inside, a pedestrian walking by, or just someone living in that city. So with all this tech and all this responsibility, what's actually going on inside the mind of a modern lighting designer? How do they approach this stuff? Well, it really boils down to this super simple but really powerful hierarchy. Number 1, architecture first. The building is always the hero of the story. Number 2, light. Light is the tool you use to tell that story, to enhance the hero. And last, technology. The tech is just the paintbrush. It serves the art. It never ever leads the conversation. And this comparison says it all. The wrong question to ask is, how many cool lights can we stick on this thing? The right question, the one great designers always start with, is, what should this building express at night? What's the story we're trying to tell? What emotion are we going for? What is its voice after the sun goes down? And really, that's the one thing that ties all of this together. From dynamic scenes to interactive sensors to all the software. It all comes down to one thing: light with purpose. So that kind of leaves us with one big question to chew on, right? If our buildings can now speak, what is it we should teach them to say?